Good day, and how are you today? It's SmallBizDavid, and welcome to day number one, two, three, four. Day number four. I'm being coached in the background here. Day number four of Global Entrepreneurship Week, and I want to take a moment to talk about it before we get into today's discussion. Global Entrepreneurship Week was a program actually started by the Kauffman Foundation about 8 years ago. And the Kauffman Foundation is the world's largest entrepreneurship foundation, doing wonderful, wonderful things, not just with starting businesses, but they literally do research reports that the world waits on to talk about the state of the economy and forecasting what's going to happen in the economy. I did not learn about the week until it was actually the end of the week number one when I first learned about it. I decided, wow, what a neat concept. A concept where entrepreneurs, small business owners, step back from their businesses for a moment and share their successes, share their failures, share their learnings about what small business is all about, so that not only could we interact with other entrepreneurs and small business owners, but more importantly, could interact with students of entrepreneurship to demonstrate to students around the world that entrepreneurship, solopreneurship, and I want to talk to you about that, the difference between the two. Just remind me before the end of our discussion.
Okay.
It's a wonderful week, and it's actually, to me, the most exciting week that I have all year, in that it's what I'm all about. And so it's a wonderful week. And so today, the event, when I say today, this week, the event has grown from one country, one or two, three or four events of the week, to there will be over 45,000 events in over 160 countries, touching more than 10 million people. That's what's going to happen. And to my knowledge, Jess, I am one of definitely a few, and maybe the only one that does all this online.
You might definitely by video. I have seen a lot of pictures, and I've seen a lot of conversations, and I've seen a lot of blog posts, and I've seen a lot of dialogue, but all of it completely
live stream,
online,
for sure, live streaming. And actually, didn't you? Well, yeah, I know the answer. You actually participated with me in this week 2 years ago.
Yep.
And so it's a wonderful event, and it pumps me up, and it's a second weekend and second week of November every year. It's a great time. It just kind of coincides with where I tell small business folks that, you know, if you haven't done it already, you need to step back from your business the last 100 days of your business year to evaluate what has worked, what has not worked, what hasn't worked, fix it, or get rid of it and start something else, do something else, take a different strategy, and fine tune those things that worked well for you in 2015. And I couldn't pick a better person than to have that kind of discussion today.
Yeah, well, and thank you very much. And I'm going to just jump in with my own thing. Why am I not getting the breaks that I want in my business? I would add that to my 100-day evaluation that you were just listing out all those questions.
Well, you knew it was going to be a great segue into our discussion.
Yeah.
And something about curiosity. Now, before we get started, well, and I got to say, folks, if here's Jess. Here's Jess. Jess is in the HOA technology that I've been using for almost 3 years now, or 3 years. I don't know how long it is. Actually, you and I met on the very first HOA that I ever participated in with Ray.
Me too. That was my very first one too.
It was my first one, and it was probably Scott's first one. Scott Scowcroft, who's going to be with us tomorrow in a discussion.
That's exciting. You have such a great lineup this week. I've been checking in all the videos since I can't watch all of them live, but I've been checking in and seeing. And
just the buzz that I have gotten this week is unbelievable. I think that literally, based upon Google's views number, I don't know what that means, but my number has jumped more than 10,000 since the week started. And all I've been talking about this week is the week.
Exactly.
So I got to assume that, there's a tie between those two, but it's great. Be that as it may, it doesn't matter.
Be that as it may, I'm Jess Dewell, and I own my own company as well. I have a fabulous team that works with me at Red Direction. And what do we do at Red Direction? We talk about all different things related to business when a business owner, whether they're an entrepreneur or not, and I want to define that before we get too far in our conversation, David, because I think we need, for the purposes of our conversation in this week, let's really make sure that for our time together, we're defining entrepreneur the same way.
Well, let me interrupt you, and it's great.
Yeah.
I love it. No, I love that you're doing it, because the very first discussion I had this week was with Stan Bush.
Yep.
And Stan, throughout the question,
a big hug, Stan. We're waving at you.
For 2016, what was Stan said, are you a solopreneur or an entrepreneur? Then we spent about 15 minutes discussing, does it really matter what we are? I consider myself to be an entrepreneur. I've been doing it for 40 years. I do what I have to do to move my business forward, my life forward.
Okay, however, so we're going to define. Cool. We'll define it now. So, I'm making a difference between entrepreneur and business owner, because whether you're in business for yourself, you're a business owner possibly and an entrepreneur. But I don't know, and this is a place that I'm curious about. I don't know if every business owner is an entrepreneur. Or could there be entrepreneurs in other parts of an organization that really give it the life? And I'm very curious about what that would look like and how that works, because some people don't identify with being an entrepreneur.
Have you read Michael Gerber very much?
Yeah.
Michael Gerber would say to you, he would say, great question, Jess, or great concern. And his answer to that would be that most business owners, and he kind of takes, it's kind of a negative type thing. And he and I actually have gone one-to-one on this discussion. I was very blessed to be able to go one-to-one with him on it. He takes the position that most business owners are not really entrepreneurs. They are engineers. They are engineers with an idea. Not that it's a bad idea, and not that the concept isn't good, but they don't know much about business. And they don't know much about moving their business forward. And I'm sure you buy into that concept.
I do. And so whether you call, and so I think Global Entrepreneurship Week is even more than just for entrepreneurs. It is for every business owner. And the conversations that we have, whether we're entrepreneurs or not, if we're engineers doing our business, like Michael Gerber would say, how cool is it that we still have something to take away? We still have the idea that we're going to have information, and we can get our inspiration and our sparks externally to move us forward. Okay. And that's what I like to do with businesses. Yeah.
Okay. I want to do two things, and then we'll get down and talk about what we're going to talk about. First of all, I want you to extend an offer of your business that you had sent to me today and said, David, can you help me out on this? And here's a good platform to do it. Cool. And what was the second thing I wanted to do?
We'll do that at the end, everybody. I have a great big offer for you at the end.
No, you're going to give the offer now. We don't do the traditional way of waiting till the end. We're going to give it now. No,
okay, well, so sign up while we're on this conversation. Is that what this is about? I love it, David.
Go ahead. Well, you can put it in the event stream or do whatever, but I want to talk about it now. I don't like the hokiness of, you got to wait until the end in the last 3 minutes.
Come on. I was trying to be a little, flirty with it, but sure, we can just put it on the table right now. Why not?
Phil Boyer taught me you got to break the rules. You got to break the rules.
All right. You keep talking about all these amazing people that I absolutely love. Go Stan, go Phil. Hi, Phil and Kate. All right. So yes, what I am trying to do is I'm trying to gather information from business owners in a lot of different ways. And my offer is to just have a consult with me, completely complimentary. Your time is an investment, which is why it's not free. It's your time is an investment. My time is an investment. We're going to come together and talk about what's something that you might be stuck around. Are you looking to expand? Are you looking to scale? Are you looking to streamline? What might that be? Are you trying a strategy and it's just not working? Basically, I can help figure out where the gaps are, close those gaps, and get you going. And we can do that in 30 minutes or less. And so I am giving away 12 spots that are 30-minute consultations between now and the end of 2015 to help work through whatever issues you might have as we're going into 2016, so you can start with the knowledge and the learning and keep going.
If I weren't so old, Jess, I would take you. I would opt for one of those spots.
Thank you.
but I would rather give it up to somebody who, not that I don't need it. Boy, I could. I've got some challenges that we'll talk about later. But that's be that as it may. If I can't figure them out after almost 45 years of doing this stuff,
well,
shame on
sometimes
me.
One of the things that I love about this consult is in this 30 minutes. Sometimes there's no solution, but there's a clearing. It's a clearing of everything and going, okay, well, you have all these priorities. Which one is first and why? And leveraging that to make what comes next easier. So thank you for not taking one. Psst, that means everybody, there's more for you.
Okay, I want to read a quotation, then we'll get down to some discussion. Okay. This quotation is, take an idea to the next level. What can I do with my idea to help people? Hint, there is a difference between solving a lifestyle problem and solving a need. It comes down to curiosity. Dig into the idea, and then when you think you've got it, dig more. It's in the consideration and contemplation where market differentiation emerge. Can you guess who might have made a statement like that, Jess?
And go visit jessicadewell.com. What did you think about that when you asked me that question?
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It captures the challenge that we all have. I don't care if you're starting a business or you have an existing business that you want to take to the next level, whatever that might be. It says it all in these two or three sentences. And thank you. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and understanding with us, Jess.
You're welcome. Okay, see you later.
I want you to expound upon them, and then I want to put you to the test.
Okay, that's cool. Well, I do want to talk about curiosity, and this is one of those things where we lose the ability to be curious as we age. There's just something about it, whether it's not interesting anymore, whether it might have been squashed out of us, or that flame within us gets really, really dim. That's something that if we work hard to cultivate, it really changes a lot of our life, not just in business. Business happens to be a side effect.
I want to challenge you on that one.
Okay.
That's a good one. That's a great place. And I suppose you are probably right in the fact that you say the older that we get, we lose some of that. But you know what, Jess? I haven't lost any of it.
And you're special. And this is the thing. I'm saying more people could be like you. So I'm talking to the people who
they don't want to be like me, for God's sake.
Well, you know what? Maybe your curiosity anyway, David. Maybe your curiosity. But I think we learn that. There's something about how we learn, the place, our life experience, how people react to what we do, how we determine how we fit in and belong in our world will challenge our innate curiosity. Now, it never goes away, but we might suppress it. And I guess what I'm talking about, and what I heard you say, David, is, you have a lot of curiosity and you still have that. And I'm glad you challenged me, because I don't think we have to stay dim. I think we can ask questions, we can look at information, and we can figure out what we want to do and figure out how to go do it. And a lot of that takes creativity, because we don't have infinite resources.
Well, then what you said, if what you said is true, and I'm not doubting that it totally is true, it creates a very interesting challenge, and maybe it is the challenge for small business. And I'll tell you what my thoughts are. The two largest demographics in this country, and then when we talk about demographics, we're talking about targeted audience for our businesses, are baby boomers, who represent approaching 80 million baby boomers in this country. The second largest demographic are the millennials. At the other end of the spectrum. I'm not, I'm not sure the number, but I'm sure the number has to be close to 40 million. Maybe you got a better handle on that.
I'll go with yours.
I don't know. I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing because I don't know. If anybody watching knows that number, please put it in the event stream. But if what you're saying is true, and once again, I'm not doubting it, we've got the baby boomers who are older, who are aging, and if their curiosity is kind of dimming, but the opportunities for baby boomers right now they're fantastic. And why are they fantastic? Because baby boomers have 40 years of experiences, either as the owner of a business or as an employee within a business. I don't care. It doesn't matter. They have experience. They have knowledge. They have wisdom. They have understanding. Okay, that's the one end of the spectrum. At the other end of the spectrum are the millennials. Are they the ones that are curious? Well, they better be curious because they're getting started. The challenge, and this is bizarre. The challenge today is that you've got the baby boomers, and I'm a baby boomer with 2 sons who are millennials, and so I see how they think and I see how they communicate, and I love my sons dearly, but the way that they approach life, the way that they communicate is dramatically different than the way I communicate. Not that it's right or wrong. It's dramatically different than when I was their age.
I agree with you. And here's the thing. Part of life experience and part of age also brings about a wisdom that not every opportunity might actually be the right opportunity. Whereas the other end of the spectrum, who knows? Our eyes are bright. They're ready to go. And I will tell you, I didn't find, when I'm talking about curiosity, maybe we should define that a little bit, because I don't think I found my innate curiosity until I was in my late 20s. So about 10 years ago. And I really thought, I really think that
10 years ago, say late 20s, you're in your late 30s then now.
Yeah, I'm 37. Yeah, I know, right? I was not supposed to be hard, David.
I was going to do the math. I had to do the math. I had to do the math.
Yeah, but so
I am old enough to be your father, Jess.
I know.
Not quite grandfather, but almost.
Well, anyway, let's come back to curiosity, since we have that in common also, David. But the curiosity is the willingness to ask the question. And sometimes, more importantly, the beginnings of curiosity is just really looking around and actually seeing, not going through life and waving to the same people that you see, but locking eyes and having a moment where you have that human connection. Or when you're in the grocery store and you're just grabbing because you know exactly where I drink tea, so I know exactly where the chai tea that I drink is, and I just go look at it on the shelf. And the other day, I was like, why am I just dragging this off the shelf? I have a few minutes. I stopped and I looked, and I was like, I have like 12 chai tea options. How amazing.
What happened? What happened?
I'm here.
Oh no, you lost connectivity for a moment, or you froze up.
I froze.
What's happening? Okay. What's happening in Google, Jess? What is happening?
We're gonna just go with it and run right through. So I had 12 choices of chai tea because I stopped to look. So we get in these habits and we think these habits are efficient, and we think that these things that make our general lives get us to have more time and do all of these things. And even something as simple as looking around for another tea to try could open up a door and have a different conversation, and maybe there's something new that we should be looking at. And the same applies to business. If we don't stop and look around, like we'll go back to the questions that you were talking about at the beginning, the last 100 days of the year, we're in evaluation mode. And if we're not, we should consider evaluation mode. And if you're not, please go to jessicadewell.com and get your consult, because come on, guys. David's onto something here, and I can help you with that. So I really think that when we apply it to business, we have the ability to look at what we're doing and really take a step back and go, is this our only option? Because maybe it was our only option when we made the original decision, but it doesn't have to be the same option that we do just because we've always done it. And that's what I would define curiosity: the willingness to look at things, take a step back to look at things and see things for the new opportunities that might exist for an existing process.
Well, and you bring up another concept of business, and it's Michael Gerberish concept of business, in that to be successful, an entrepreneur, solopreneur, well, no, an entrepreneur, not a solopreneur. An entrepreneur has to be able to step away from their business and work on their business and not in their business. And you can't step away and not work on your business if you're a solopreneur. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because I think there's a new business model. And I started talking about it literally 5 years ago, that there are millions of solopreneurs. Now, as a solopreneur, you can only do so much. There's only 24 hours in a day, and you know all the things that have to be done with your business. So what do? You get collaborative partners. You might get another company and outsource a function to that company, or you might get another solopreneur like yourself who has a skill set different than yours. So together you collaborate for yourselves, and then guess what happens? You've collaborated for yourselves, and you've created a new business entity, a new force to take to the marketplace.
Right. And I think that that's a very cool thing. And I love the concept of collaboration. I also recognize that with the statistics that we're talking about, when 40% of our workforce will be freelancers by 2020. So I'm going to lump freelancer into solopreneur here.
Sure.
There are still a lot of business functions that have to occur. And the one thing that me as a business owner has to decide when I decide to work with a freelancer or a solopreneur or enter a collaborative partnership or with another company, or let's say I'm a solopreneur working with another solopreneur, part of that time is each entity growing and defining their own business. And I think that that's something that we're not leveraging as well. And I love entrepreneurs show up everywhere. They show up in the largest corporations. They show up in medium-sized businesses and small businesses, in addition to being out on their own, doing their own thing. There are these people that have these ideas, and with the right skills, which are all learnable, somebody could learn how to create a team, generate a whole bunch of interest, whether it's collaborative partnerships, whether it's volunteer work, whether it's hiring employees, it doesn't matter, so that they can actually productize this idea. And most of the time, I would say an entrepreneur will eventually find something new to go out and find and drive new interest towards and get people around it and create a product. And so when we talk about solopreneurs and entrepreneurs, David, I want to take a step back, because when we're talking about freelancers, now we're talking about service businesses. Now we're talking about every single entrepreneur that's out there doing it on their own or in some sort of collaboration with a service. And as that service business, that service needs to be separate from the self. And if it's not, we take things more personally. We react in different ways. We think of it more as a third arm, if you will. And if something happens to that third arm, we get really worried. So if we might hurt ourselves, what do? We pull our product and our service back in. If that's all we've got, if it's part of who we are, we need to let it out there and not let it be a third arm, and actually be something standalone, so that it can take off and we can work outside of our business, looking in on it, in addition to inside our business and some of the day-to-day.
And you touched upon a couple of minutes ago, Jess, another paradigm shift in the way business is being done today. And you talked about, the corporations. What's happening in the corporations in the last 4 or 5 years? The term entrepreneur has grown, and that's within a corporation. And the corporation very smartly says, okay, business units, we want you to operate, freelance, if you will, operate as a business, as a small business would operate, and make decisions that you need to make at your level for your business, as opposed to going to the corporation and saying, okay, here's the deal, how are we going to deal with it? Take the initiative, take the risk, take the responsibility, take the accountability, and make a good business decision for the corporation. And that's only about 5 years old, that concept.
It is. And the bigger the company, sometimes the smaller the change when it comes to that. But understanding that is, we all choose. It's so funny. I was having a conversation about earn today with Carter. Carter's my 4-year-old son. And he was talking about earning money for doing something good. And I said, well, earn is not something that you can touch. Trade is something that you can touch. And even in our business, and I think this might be and I don't know where this is coming from, but it sounded really good after what you were saying, David.
That's cool.
In the sense that I almost think we have something to prove. When we say we've earned it, the other side of earn is prove. And so if we're out earning a living, we're kind of proving ourselves over and over and over again. What if we were trading our services for money because they had value? It's another way to differentiate between what we've got going on and how personal we might be taking it. And by the way, you don't have to be a solopreneur doing it all yourself, or a small business owner doing it all yourself to take this on. When I had a team of, I think there were 25 of us, and I ran a large portion of a back then public company, I took it all on as my own, and it became a part of who I am. So it can happen in larger companies in addition to small companies. And I think that's a skill we have to learn, separating ourselves from the role that we play, because we have skills and knowledge and information that is worth trading for money, so we can have a house, have a car, live the life we want, choose the lifestyle choices that we might prefer.
You need to listen to a conversation I had yesterday
Okay.
with Ken Manessi. You said about 5 things just now in the last couple of minutes that he and I discussed yesterday.
Cool.
Yes, it's wonderful to see. You talk about earning. There's no question that years of experience put you into the category you've earned it. Okay.
Right, but what is earned? I'm not earning money at that point.
It's not about money.
I've earned trust. I've earned the go-to person for my area of expertise. People recognize me as that. But you have to put your time in for that, and you have to be willing to take the time to listen and learn to get to that point. It's a very much a soft skill. It's not something I can just go follow a checklist and do.
So many people say to me, they've been saying it to me for years and years and years, including my mother, David, what do you do? What is it that you do? And my standard answer to that question is, whatever I want to do. One time my mother was very much concerned, and she said, David, I have a lot of friends, and they ask me, what do you do? What is it that you do? And I said, Mom, all you need to tell your friends is that whatever it is, I've been doing it for over 40 years. And obviously it's worked for me because I continue to do it. And it doesn't matter that I got to step back to Jess. And I've made this statement many times. I cannot recommend to anybody to use my business model. It will not work. It's worked for me. And that's all that's important. That's all that's important, that it has worked for me. But I would not attempt to teach my business model to anybody, because it's different. However, I can't continue to do the things that I do until I hone certain skills. And you use the word skills several times. That's one of that is the major word that Ken uses, is skill, because we need to take our skills, whatever it is that they are, and make them better. And the crazy thing, the challenging thing today is, and I see it more so, because where I started 40 years ago and where it is today is technology. Technology changes every 30 seconds. And so you have to understand that, and you have to figure out, well, what's going to make my business run more efficiently, what technology is. Do I have to worry about that? That's one area of concern. The other area of concern is, how am I going to communicate with my customers? How do I do that? And that's, our customers are our lifeblood.
It is. And by the way, what you are talking about right now is a soft skill, and it's a soft skill we think we might know, but we can all do better practicing it on a regular basis, me included, and that is problem solving. It's what is happening in our world, in our business, in our life, wherever, and understanding, is it a symptom or is it the actual problem? Because we are in a place where it doesn't matter who we are and where we're at, there is a lot of band-aiding going on. I'm going to slap this on and move it on, slap it on and move it on, slap it on and move it on. And we're not thinking about the user experience and what ends up happening. We as companies, a company will write help tutorials and all these things around this common problem, when what if there was something underlying that actually turned out to be a really good idea. And the company ended up finding the solution that not only removed the problem, but it was actually a benefit. So that helps customers benefit. It also helped the company benefit, and it helped the employees benefit. There are ways to evaluate. So we actually say, I mean, have you heard this thing? This is like I love the idea that every problem is an opportunity. What I disagree, though, because not every solution has an opportunity. I could have a solution that fits in, but it could be a really poor solution. So there's really no opportunity there. So until we know the problem and we understand all the solutions that fit into those criteria of the problem that has been defined, can we find the solution that actually makes the problem an opportunity?
And the better, and the more open you are to, the more astute you are to curiosity.
Yes.
The quicker you're going to find that. So I want to throw a challenge out there.
The quicker you're going to define the problem is what I would say. The more curiosity you have, the quicker you can define your problems.
And you can't find a solution till you understand what the problem is first.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw something out there to you, and we'll see what happens with it, Jess. I would like to create a group.
Mm-hmm.
You and I are the original members of the group, okay? And we might invite, and we're going to take 1 hour a week, 1 hour a week. It might be a Sunday night before the week gets started, 1 hour, or it might be the first thing Monday morning. I think it should happen at the beginning of that week to give you something to think about. And we bring to that 1 hour discussion a challenge.
Okay.
That we have, and we it's a mastermind kind of concept. We brainstorm, we mastermind, and after that 1 hour, all of us will benefit from whatever the outcome is of that 1 hour. Are you into that, Jess?
I would be interested in learning more and see where it goes. Sure, especially if it's going to articulate problem-solving skills and really work on that, because that's what I love. Let's do it as a blab. Ooh, blabs. Here, I could bring mine up here. Okay, David.
No, but it's interesting. On Monday, when I was trying to do Monday I did my own HOA about Global Entrepreneurship Week. Tuesday I was supposed to do one with Stan and with Chef Dennis.
Yeah. I
went to try to open up my broadcast from my event page, and I could not open the broadcast. First time ever in over 300 HOAs that I have done, I could not open it. So I said, I know that stuff is going on in Google. I read about it. I see it. I hear people philosophizing about it. But dang it, it happened to me. I could not open that HOA. And I said, so I got in touch with Stan right away. I said, Stan, it's an hour before we're supposed to get going here. Let's take it to Blab. Let's do a blab. So instead of doing an HOA, that was the immediate solution that we had. And we did our discussion. So I'll take that discussion and put it into my G+ stream. And we've done essentially the same thing. You muted yourself.
I did, because I'm actually looking for a prop that I lost in my keyboard here. So I'm not going to be able to use it.
Well, you know what? I want you to find it. Find it. I want to see
it's fine. Okay, I need you to talk for a minute. You can do that.
Talk for a minute. I have to talk for a minute? What should I talk about, Jess? This has been, I love to have my interactions with Jess, and she has probably been the individual who I have done most of my lives, not the most, or certainly at the top, live streaming since I've been doing, well, I should say G+ live streaming. Because Jess, my next entrepreneur that I'm going to be speaking with is Barbara Weltman.
Yeah.
And Barbara and I started live streaming 7 years ago.
Isn't that cool?
On other platforms, and we've evolved to where we're going to be in a half hour from now.
20
minutes,
from
now. And it's kind of fun. And Barbara and I definitely are old school entrepreneurs who have been doing whatever we're doing for whatever length of time. And It's been fun, trying to figure it out and what is the challenge, and how do we best communicate? And you know what, Jess?
I got my prop. This is perfect.
Okay,
how do you best communicate? As much as I love unicorns, look at this. This is the tiniest unicorn in the face of this planet. Okay, so this is a fairly oversized coffee mug. I mean, look at this. I wish I had a penny. Oh, here we go. Here's a pen, just a regular size pen. Okay, look how tiny.
Oh my goodness, look how small
he's tiny.
It is. Yes.
Yeah, and I pull this out because if we're only solving symptoms, or we're communicating ineffectively, or we're having one conversation because a word like curiosity or entrepreneur means something different than what you think it means, we're talking unicorns. I love them, but they're magic and they're not real. And I know we need to get a horn on your giraffe there.
We need to talk about giraffes because they're 18 feet. The full mature giraffe is 18 feet tall. That's what we need to talk about.
I'm telling you. Well, and you know what? Okay, we're not going to take this tangent here, but I have something for you.
You do?
I do. I have something for you. We'll have to talk about it when we get off the air.
So I have a question for you. When you talked about tea, I didn't bring it up. Unrelated to our discussion. Because of a surgery that I had 6 weeks ago today, as a matter of fact, I've been having challenges sleeping through the night. So I wake up and somebody said, well, take some tea. What tea would you recommend for me to put myself back to sleep?
Okay, well, there are teas that will make you go to sleep, but it can interfere with any medication you're on, so I'm not going to make a recommendation.
Oh, I have to ask my doctor then.
Yeah, but if you wanted something that I know won't, chamomile tea with warm milk is always something that's nice. It settles your stomach. It's the warm milk. It's nice and warm. So that one is something, but there are teas that can help you sleep, but I don't know how it interferes.
Well, I've done. You know what?
Interfere with your medicine.
It's amazing you said what you just did, because I've done warm milk and I've done chamomile tea. I haven't put the two of them together.
You don't need any honey or anything. Just chamomile tea and warm milk is brilliant and wonderful.
Guess what I'm going to do tonight, Jess?
You know what? I love tea, and I actually think that it's one of those things that's really underrated. And I like milk in my tea, but I also like a whole bunch of teas without the milk in them. And you can get, anything without caffeine would probably work. The one thing I will tell you, and I don't know, I can't do orange or citrus teas with any creamer in them. That doesn't work for me. But other than that, it's fun. And by the way, if you need just good brain food and good healing food, some sort of coconut oil or medium chain, I don't remember what it's called, medium chain fatty oil, something or other, and I get it from coconut oil or MCT oil. I put it in my coffee and I blend it up with some butter, and it makes it seem like there's cream in there, but there's no milk, and it's a little frothy, and it helps your brain. That oil is brain.
Oh my
food.
goodness, I'm going to drink a gallon of it tonight, Jess. I need all the help. My brain needs all the help it can get.
Mine too. Otherwise, we're talking unicorns.
Okay, so if I get chamomile tea, which I have, and I have it in the kitchen, and I get some coconut milk, and I put some butter in it, then that should do the trick.
Coconut oil. So
a coconut oil.
Yeah. So what we started out was, how do we just get warm and fuzzy and start relaxing to be able to have sweet dreams and not count sheep? And that turned into, another thing you could do is totally work on your brain at the same time, which is grass-fed butter plus coconut oil blended, literally using a blender or a frother in your tea.
I'm going to have to try that out. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting towards the time. Actually, I forgot to ask you, and it's too late now. I was going to say a while ago, let's end it as an HOA and let's take the discussion to Blab. I really was going to do that.
Yeah.
I forgot to do that because you were just getting me going, and I get so engrossed with our conversations when we have them. So we'll do that in the future.
I would love that.
Jess, thank you. So here we are at the end. Do you want to repeat your offer, because now we're at the end of the HOA?
You're making me feel so good. You're putting me into some sort of a structure I recognize. Okay. But I'm going to start recapping some of what we said, though, that we talked about, that I think are the highlights from our conversation.
Thank you.
By the way, the same thing to you, David. I always enjoy these conversations because we never know where they're going to go.
We don't know where they're going to go, but you know what?
But they're packed with good information.
They have lots of great information.
Yeah. And the gist is, If you're not an entrepreneur, but you're a business owner, that's okay. Everything in Global Entrepreneur Week or Entrepreneurship Week has something for you, number one. Number two, curiosity is such an important skill, and part of curiosity is just observing, the skill of observing and seeing what happens. Because the more we can see, the more we can start questioning and looking at things, the more we'll be able to understand when stuff comes up in our daily existence. Is it a problem or is it a symptom? Because if it's a symptom, we might not know. So we watch and we take care of it. And what are symptoms? They come back over and over again. They don't ever go away.
Okay, before you get to point number three, if there is a point number three,
there is.
I want to throw out there. Okay, Jess challenged us with the statement that the older you get, the less curious.
Oh, no. By the time you're an adult, a lot of us have our curiosity sapped. And so we actually have to actively cultivate it to bring it back.
So it's an energy thing as opposed to.
Yes.
Okay. It's not a state of mind. It's an energy thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, or, our circumstances have told us it's okay to be curious or not. And a lot of time it's or not. And what I find with the businesses that I work with is that there's more of the or not. I have lost my curiosity. All I see are symptoms. I'm drowning and overwhelmed with all of these problems. And when we sit down and look into that, it becomes clear what a customized path would look like to help somebody recognize, okay, here's what's coming up, symptoms. So what do these symptoms actually represent on the lower level? And it takes curiosity to get there to define the problem.
Okay, I've never asked you this question as long as you and I have known each other. And
Okay.
Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready for the question, Jazz?
I'm ready.
I have never asked you what types of clients do you have, and what industry types, and what's your ideal client? I have never asked you that question.
All right. Well, I am industry agnostic because I like to work on products and on businesses. And there are always people in businesses, and it's the people that make up the business that is going to make it work or not work. So I really like to help. And I don't like the word help, but I hate the word.
I hate the word help.
And so it's so funny, it comes out. But really what I do is I come in and I help figure out what's going on, what the lay of the land is. And then we figure out together what needs to change. Where are the gaps in the business? Where are the gaps in the processes? Where are the gaps in the people? And most importantly, what is right under our noses in a business that we aren't leveraging in our people that we knew that we can now use to help us get to where we're going.
And you used a word today, and it's my favorite word in business. And I don't think I've ever heard you use it before today. Product. I call it productivization.
I productize, yeah.
And you productize, and I call it product. I think that is one of the most important concepts, because we have all these ideas and we have all these concepts, but businesses want, if they're going to invest in what you do, and as a mentor, as a coach, as whatever, a consultant, whatever it might be, they want to get
an advisor.
They want to get value. They want to get a return on their investment. There's no better way to demonstrate that than say, here's a product that you can develop based upon what it is you do in your business.
That's right. And by the way, I have developed a product. So if you come get your consult with me, that I have a group of free ones, 30-minute free ones from now until the end of the year, you will get to learn about, of course, at the end, because that's the upsell, what is my product? What's the plan? Yeah, what's the plan for you to achieve your goals in whatever that time frame is, or resolve a problem in whatever that time frame is, specifically customized just to you. So you leave the free consult, it's a complimentary consult, remember it's not free. So you come get your consult. At the end of 30 minutes, we'll be able to define and clarify what the problem is you're working on and the first priority around it.
And there's about 40 days left in the year, plus or minus. And the Israelites spent 40 years in the desert, 40.
Yep.
So it's not too late, friends. It is not too late for you to step back. And what a wonderful opportunity for somebody with Jess's mindset and how she approaches it and how she tackles it. Take advantage of it. You've got some time, because you know what? You're late. You're late in evaluating what you did in 2015 and what you need to do in 2016. And what a great bridge there can be with Jess.
So David is telling you, if you haven't started, you're behind the 8 ball. And by the way, this might be a good way to at least get moving. Is that what? Yeah. And so again, I'm Jess Dewell. And my website is jessicadewell.com. Right on the front page at the top is the Get Your Consult button.
Jess, thank you for your time today. I got to run and I get the next HOA going here, but thank you. It always is a pleasure. We went to plant some seeds today, and let's continue discussions, and let me know when you've got that 12 consults, when you've got it all filled up and ready to go. You muted yourself.
That sounds perfect. Bailey is joining our conversation at the end, if you can't tell.
There you go. Okay, well, have a great day. And
thank you. Happy Entrepreneurship Week, Global Entrepreneurship Week. This is very fun.
Thank you. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Jess.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye. And if my friends, if today's the first day that you have been visiting me and what it is that we do and are dreaming with entrepreneurs in Google Plus, our community, it's growing. Actually, it's kind of interesting. In the last 24 hours, and I have never had this happen before, but I have to believe it's an outgrowth of what I've been doing all this week. There are about 25 people waiting for approval to come in. I have never had that, and they all came at one time. I don't know if somebody did something out there. I didn't do it, but we've got all, we do a lot of posting. We interact with one another. We collaborate with one another. And in that collaboration, your business moves forward, my business moves forward, and together we create a new entity to take to the marketplace so other businesses can move forward. My name is SmallBizDavid, and I will see you the next time, which may very well be the best time. See you then.